Hi everyone and welcome to the UA92 Virtual Open Day. My name's Daisy Dalton. I'm a first year sports and exercise science student here at UA92.
Hi everyone, I'm Andrew Smith and I'm part of the student recruitment team here. It's a real pleasure to be able to welcome you all live from our very own state-of-the-art media lab. It's our second time hosting the Virtual Open Day from this studio and we're really excited about using our top-of-the-range equipment, and we're getting more used to delivering events in this new virtual world.
So we'd love to hear from you throughout the day. So why don't you introduce yourself now in the chat function at the bottom of your screen? Say hello, tell us what course you're interested in. Those of you who registered before Thursday lunchtime should have received your UA92 events pack. So we hope that you have made yourself a hot drink whilst you watch the event today.
We've got a jam-packed schedule for you to enjoy today, and we'll shortly kick off with the UA92 experience session, where you'll hear more about our unique approach to higher education, as well as our straightforward AM/PM timetable and our focus on character and personal development while you're with us. After that, we've got an exclusive interview with UA92 co-founder and Manchester United legend Phil Neville, interviewed by one of our media students, Jake Redshaw.
We'll then share our brand new campus tour video with you so that you'll be able to get a feel for the campus from the comfort of your own homes. And you'll also be able to see how we're teaching in person on campus with the social distancing measures in place. We've then got a live panel session with our amazing students and industry partners and staff. And last but not least, we've got an important session on UCAS and student finance, and a discussion on student wellbeing with our brilliant journalism student Abs and wellbeing officer Steph.
And if all that isn't enough, after the event, we're running one-to-ones with our fantastic academic and admissions team. So if you haven't already booked your one-on-one, you do still have time. Just email us at hello@ua92.ac.uk. One of our team will be manning that inbox right now and we'll get straight back to you. So, Daisy, you're a first-year student with us. You joined us in September. Did you come and see us at an open day? Do you remember your open day experience?
I did. I think I came to an open day just over a year ago. Obviously, it was on campus at the time. And I went into the performance hub and I got to speak to one of my course tutors, Chrissy, who was amazing. She managed to answer all of the questions I threw at her with ease. She really offered me an insight into what student life would be like at UA92. She was also really interested in what I do as a person, my individual sports and my team sports that I play, saying that the uni would be happy to get involved with everything to do with me as a person and the sports that I do. It was really good.
I mean, you mentioned there coming onto campus. Obviously, you were able to do that, and it's unfortunate we're not able to welcome people onto campus today. But we are going to be showing a campus tour video, which will give you a chance to have a look around and see the facilities. But what advice would you give to people who have joined us today? What should they be aiming to get out of the sessions today?
I think that if you're on this open day today, then you need to watch all of the videos as intently as you possibly can and ask as many questions as you can. There isn't a silly question. You don't want to leave this open day today and think, I really wish I'd have asked that question. So please drop it in the chat box and we'll be sure to answer you.
Yeah, completely agree. We've got our student ambassadors in the chat as we speak. So if you've got any questions for them, please put them in the chat box. And as Daisy said earlier, introduce yourself, say hello, tell us what course you're interested in. It'd be great to get some dialogue in that chat box from now. And at the end of the sessions, Daisy and I will be answering questions live in the studio. So if you've got any questions for student recruitment, feel free to ask them to me. Daisy will answer them as from the student's perspective as well. Okay, I think that's enough from us, don't you? Let's hand over to Gareth Smith, who's our Director of Student Affairs at UA92, and he's going to talk us through the UA92 experience.
Thanks, guys. So welcome to University Academy 92 and our virtual open day. Obviously, we'd love to welcome you to our state-of-the-art brand new campus, but this is the next best thing. So we're going to talk to you today about all things UA92, the way that we deliver our courses, and all the measures we put in place to keep you safe throughout the COVID pandemic. I'm Gareth Smith. I'm the Director of Student Affairs, which means that I look after the student life cycle. From today, when you're first interested in joining us, hopefully right through to your graduation with us in just over 3 years' time. So the first thing I'd like to talk to you about is the measures we've taken to keep all of our students and our campus safe throughout the COVID pandemic. So we've got social distancing in place. We never had big lecture theatres ever at UA92. It's not the way we choose to teach. But what we've done is gone further still. So a classroom that would have held 30 is now holding 12, or one that would have had 60 people in it is now like 24. So we have 2 meters social distancing in place at all times on campus, which means that once you're sat down in one of our classrooms, you can take your mask off. You don't need to worry about that, keeping everybody safe. We've equally got one-way systems, which means you just follow the flow throughout campus, and you'll see more of that in our campus video. We've got lots of hand sanitizer points. I think there's 19 across campus, and we know that kind of hand hygiene and everything is really important right now. And one of the things you won't see at UA92, be it on a virtual tour or if you physically came here, is you're not going to see a physical library. When you created a university 100 years ago, you designed a kind of one with a university library alongside it with thousands of books. Here at UA92, we thought about it in the digital world. It's not the way people learn or choose to absorb their information anymore, which means all of our resources are online, be it e-journals, videos, e-books, they're all accessible, which means whatever happens, if you're here on campus, you're in our student accommodation, or you're back home with your family, you can access all the resources wherever you are, and you don't need to worry about returning a book that somebody else has just borrowed. We can keep it all safe, secure, and accessible for you wherever you are. So University Academy 92 is a new institution. We opened our doors for the first time in September 2019. We are created by unique kind of combination of organisations. Lancaster University, an elite prestigious university, top 10 in all of the university league tables, so the Complete University Guide and the Guardian University League Table. They partnered with the class of 92, Manchester United footballers who are phenomenally successful on the pitch, that resulted in Manchester United winning the treble in 1999, who have gone on to be successful in their careers beyond football, kind of running hotels, businesses, football management, journalism. They partnered together to form University Academy 92 to create a new kind of higher education experience. But we didn't want to just create something where all of our courses were great because we said they were academically great. The key bit that's different about University Academy 92 is we've partnered with leading industry figures to make sure that all of our degrees deliver them the kind of graduates they need at the far side of your 3-year degree or your 1-year certificate in higher education. And I'll talk more about which partners we've worked with later on. All of our degrees are awarded by Lancaster University. So I mentioned a kind of well-regarded university, be it if you're looking for a job in Greater Manchester after you graduate, or you're looking for one kind of right across the world. You know a degree from Lancaster University will be clearly recognised and will really help open those doors for you, whatever you choose to do in the future. So all of our partners are here to shape our degree programmes and make sure they're truly industry-led. So they're involved in the co-design of our programmes, but equally they're involved in the delivery of them practically and of kind of working alongside us to kind of provide guest speakers or internships for you as part of your programme. And I'll just highlight a couple of them here now. So Microsoft, they're actually based here in the University Academy 92 building. This is their northern headquarters alongside their kind of London office. They're based here in University Academy 92. And they work with us in a number of different ways. So they've worked with us to shape our computer science degree program to make sure it gives everyone on it the right kind of skills they need to be employed by Microsoft or other leading industry figures out the other side. Equally, they're working with all our students and with all our kind of teaching staff as well to support us around Microsoft Teams. So we haven't designed a virtual learning environment that's just used here at UA92. We've worked with them to become one of the very first higher education institutions to deliver everything through Microsoft Teams, and I'll talk more about that later. They also work with us around our Target Talent Curriculum program. So everybody studying their modules will work with them to get Microsoft accreditation. When applying for a job, something that's often asked for is, can you use Word? Can you use kind of all of the Office suite, Excel, PowerPoint? And how can you demonstrate that? The reality for me, like many people, is I know how to use these things, but I can't demonstrate it to employers. So we're working with Microsoft to make sure all of our students get that formal certification, which means you'll be recognized by employers when you come to apply for jobs. Equally, we work with KPMG. They work closely with us around our accounting and finance programs, delivering guest kind of lectures to all of our students who have also had the opportunity to go kind of to KPMG and see firsthand what they're working on. But they're also our social mobility partner, working with us to enable us to reach out into kind of communities and people that might not have considered higher education traditionally. So there's lots of ways that University Academy 92 is different, and this is kind of a theme throughout this talk. And that's not that traditional universities necessarily do everything wrong. It's that a lot of the ways they do things, they only do them that way because they've been doing it that same way for hundreds of years in many ways. We started with blank sheets of paper, which means we've shaped our entire kind of academic portfolio and all of our experience around the real needs of employers and what benefits you as students. So a key way this is different is that we focus around your personal development at the core of everything we do alongside your academic studies. What that means is if you're studying our business studies program, yeah, you'll get a great business studies degree, but alongside that, you'll be learning our Target Talent Curriculum, which will give you skills around communication and resilience, which will really give you that kind of head start when entering the job market once you've graduated. Alongside that, all students of University Academy 92 get a personal coach, something you won't see at other universities. What that means is you'll meet with somebody every block, so at least twice every block, typically every 3 weeks, and they're there to support you with your kind of personal development. Not as a kind of personal tutor, but as somebody that can kind of help develop you around all of those skills and be a real kind of source of kind of comfort and support throughout this. In these challenging times, everyone needs that. At University Academy 92, you're very much a name, not a number. We have hundreds of students rather than tens of thousands, and that enables us to be really supportive and provide that right kind of environment for all of our students. So there's a number of other ways that we have a really kind of distinctive approach to the way that we run our higher education offer. You'll only ever study one module at a time in University Academy 92. So at lots of institutions, you'll study 3 or 6 subjects all at once, trying to get your head around all of those different concepts. Whereas with us, it's just that one module at a time. So if you're studying our physical education degree, that first module might be sports psychology, and you just do that sports psychology for that period of time. Just learning all of that with all the assessment contained within that block. So there's no big end of year exams. You know from when you learn something to when you're being assessed on it, there's never more than 6 weeks. It's not at the end of the year, and also it's not at the end of a 3-year degree. You don't have any big finals. But while some of our courses do have exams, the way we do most of our assessment is to make it really practical and based around your subject. So if you're working around sports science, it might be running a coaching session and analysing the outputs that come out of it. For our journalism students, they might be writing an article or filming a media piece. Or for our computer science students, doing a piece of coding. What we try not to do is design exams that aren't fit for the real world. We give you assessment which is absolutely the kind of work you need to do when you enter employment. In many universities, the timetable changes from week to week, term to term, or right across your life there while studying. What that means is you can't shape the rest of your life around your studies. It kind of gets dictated to you by the way that the university operates. For us, what we've done is we've got a really fixed, rigid timetable, which means that you can shape the rest of your life around it. It means you know you're going to be able to do that shift in the afternoon if you're a morning student, or you know that you're going to be able to play university sport on a Wednesday because it's always free. So if you study with us, you'll be studying as a morning student, 9 till 1, or as an afternoon student, 2 till 6. And that's Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday throughout your time with us. We won't change that. The other benefit of studying one module at a time means we don't require everybody to start in September. In these kind of challenging times, we know that we don't expect people to wait right round until September to study. You can join us when you're ready. So it might be in September, or we equally offer entry points in November or January. And because we study one module at a time, it means whenever you start, you won't be behind. You'll be joining all the students at the start of that block at once. So next up, I'd like to show you a video which will explain this model in a bit more detail. Thanks, guys. So welcome over this summer. And there's lots of opportunities that we work with alongside our partners across all of our different degree programs. The other benefit of this academic year is that you can start at different points. So if you start in November, all that changes, you start there, you'll start with block 2, then block 2, 3, 4, and then rather than the summer break starting in April, you'll then do block 1 there. No disadvantage, you just catch up with all the other students and study the modules in a different order. Equally, if you start in January, you'll start with study block 3, 4, 1, 2. The other benefit of this is that if something bad happens, it's really flexible. So let's say, unfortunately, you got ill for some reason. Let's say that happened in November. In a traditional university, you might lose the whole academic year because you've lost part of 3 or 6 modules. For us, all that would happen is you just don't do study block 2 there. You've done block 1, all in the bag, all secured. You can't study block 2, but you're ready to come back in January. You do block 3, block 4, and then in the summer, you do block 2, which means then you're able to start your second year back on time with all of your classmates, rather than having to resit a whole year that you'd get elsewhere. The other benefit is this timetable is you can see that there are 6 blocks over the year. So for anybody that's keen, you can do an accelerated degree and graduate with us in just 2 years. So rather than studying 4 blocks a year, you do 6 blocks a year. That sounds really intense, and it might not be for everybody, but the reality is that's still only 36 weeks a year of learning, where you get 16 weeks off. Certainly, for those of you that are just coming from school or college, you'll be familiar, is broadly in line with that. So 16 weeks off. And for those from the world of work, certainly I'd love to have 16 weeks off a year. And the real benefits it gives you is it accelerates your career, enables you to enter the workforce after just 2 years rather than traditional 3, whilst equally kind of being a more affordable option in terms of keeping down your student debt. All of our courses are kind of shaped around the demands of our partners, and we know kind of the growth industries. We've not come up with kind of programs that are just there for kind of the sake of kind of academia. We've designed them all to have clear degree outputs and kind of tangible jobs at the other end. So our courses are across 4 broad areas. So business courses, media, sport, and digital. So if I start with digital computer science, digital, an absolute growth area here in Greater Manchester and across the globe. I think all of us have got a lot more familiar with digital over the past kind of few months since the pandemic started. But equally, sport courses, physical education, gaining those practical skills as a sports scientist or in PE to enable you to be a sports coach, a teacher, a sports scientist at the end of your program. Whilst on our journalism program, one of our newest degree programs is sport journalism, and one of the teachers on that program is Phil Jones. So for anybody who watched London 2012 or any athletics coverage, he's the guy that you'd always seen him kind of interviewing Usain Bolt, Greg Rutherford, Jess Ennis. That was Phil Jones there. And he's bringing his real kind of practical experience as a sport journalist kind of to work alongside of all of our students to give them, kind of great academic knowledge, but equally those real industry insights in terms of what it's like to work as a professional in those industries for the BBC. And our business students as well, so accounting and finance, working alongside KPMG to embed all of those kind of practical skills alongside your accounting and finance qualifications and exemptions from the AAT and from CIMA as part of your programs. We know that one of the barriers that many people face whilst trying to enter higher education is a financial one, particularly right now as a result of COVID. That's why the class of 92 worked with us to come up with the Kickstart scheme. 92 grants for people from Greater Manchester who have been impacted as a result of the COVID pandemic. £5,000 cash awards that are awarded to people studying on any one of our degree programmes. Please do look on our website for all the criteria, or alternatively get in touch with us. We've also got a range of other scholarships or bursaries that will work with you to kind of give you that financial support you need throughout your time studying with us. The key message for you is whenever it is in the year, you can apply to join UA92. Whether you're looking to start in September, November or January, you can apply now. We consider direct applications or you can apply through the channel of UCAS. Please look on our website for further details. Equally, if you want to speak to any of our students, we've worked with Unibuddy to create a platform for you to do just that. So you might listen to me talk about how fabulous University Academy 92 is, but you want to hear from our students firsthand. So log on there, you can hear from one of our PE students, Regan, about his experience of studying here, or from Asila, who's on our Media and Communications course, about what it's like to be a student studying on that programme. So please do check out our Unibuddy platform to learn a little bit more from all of our students. Thank you so much for your time today. I'll hand you back across to the studio.
Thanks, Gareth, and welcome back, everyone. I think we had a couple of technical difficulties then as we were talking about the timetable. Just to reiterate, you're either a morning student or you're an afternoon student. So you're either in from 9 till 1, like myself, or you're in from 2 till 6. I find this really useful because it allows me to work my part-time job as a carer outside of my university hours. If you have any questions at all throughout the day, don't forget to post them in the chat, and Andrew and I will answer them at the end of the session today.
Yeah, that's right. And so here at UA92, we completely believe in learning by doing, and our students are often tasked with putting into practice what they learn in the classroom out there in the real world. This week, one of our first year media students, Jake Redshaw, was able to put his interview skills to the test when one of our co-founders and England women's football managers, Phil Neville, joined us on Zoom. They talked all about UA92, tips on sustaining success, and the importance of character development as part of the UA92 experience. Let's take a look.
Hi guys, I'm Jake and I'm here with the current manager of the England's women's football team, Phil Neville. Hi Phil, how are you doing?
I'm good, how are you?
I'm terrific actually. Let's jump straight in. So why did you and the rest of the class of 92 originally start the University Academy of 92?
Well, I think it was a progressive thing, really. We obviously got involved. We bought a hotel just around the corner. We wanted to be, obviously, that's an area where we grew up. So we started to think about what we're going to be doing for the next 20 to 30 years after our playing careers. And we're all in employment now, but obviously employment sometimes changes. So we bought the hotel, then we bought Salford City Football Club, and that was two brilliant ventures that we went into. And then we started to think about the things that happened to us when we were younger, you know, people being given opportunities, real good experiences and opportunities for younger people, doing it in a way that we wanted to do it. And there was obviously an opportunity to set up the university in an area that we were in love with, you know, literally touching distance to the club that gave us so many great memories. And it was an opportunity to do something really special and do something a bit different, you know, create a new type of vision for how Academy 92 or a university should be run, and that's allowing students to obviously get academic qualifications, but also do the things that in life that you need to do, and that's go to work, earn some money, and have things running alongside that would help them in their development.
I think that's really useful what you guys have done for all of us here at the uni, like giving us proper experience from a really, really early start. It's really cool.
What's important is that when we were young, between the ages of 16 to 18, people talk about footballers, but the biggest learnings we got were actually away from the football pitch. We were trained with our characters. We were taken out of our comfort zone. We were taught life lessons from a very early age, and that's why I think the UA92 allows us to do it. It allows us to have a flexible program and bespoke programs for students, for them to have life experiences and character building things as well, you know what I mean? So that's probably a good thing to say.
Yeah. Now, what personal skills did you learn during your football career at Manchester United and Everton that's helped you in your career now as current head coach of the England's women's national football team?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing, probably two or three biggest things was resilience to deal with setbacks, adversity, to deal with success, to deal with financial things. You know, the resilience to deal with life lessons that it teaches. Life is not always, your life doesn't always go on an upward curve. And I think in my football career, there was some incredible highs, but the lows were just as powerful in terms of what it taught me. And I think that's probably what has taught me from my football career. Now going into business and into my managerial career, is that there are going to be some real fantastic, incredible highs. But along the way, you're going to have to show some resilience, and you're going to have to show some character, and you're going to have to deal with people. I think dealing with people is a really big thing, about having difficult conversations and having conversations that are important. And I think throughout my footballing career, the managers that I worked for were never afraid to have honest, frank conversations with you to tell you where you stood and where you needed to go to, and it stood you in good stead.
Mm-hmm. Now, I've just finished my first 6 weeks here at the university, and the module was communications in the media. Yeah. Now, how were communications different back when you were a football player compared to nowadays? I'm not calling you a dinosaur, don't worry.
No. I think it's a great comparison. Is that when you played a first team game at Manchester United when I was 18, 19, 20, or even up to the age of probably 28. You literally did probably maximum one interview a week. There was no social media. You literally went to training, you trained, you did your job, you went home under the radar of any kind of media scrutiny, unless you was a Michael Jackson or an Elton John or a David Beckham at the time. Everybody else was literally, you just got on with your normal life. And apart from when you stepped out onto that football field, when there was cameras there was media there, that was the only time that you got scrutinised. I think nowadays, and it's not just football, I think in life in general now, it's 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. I think I would find it miles more difficult to be a footballer nowadays, because you go to training, you're under the microscope, you then come home, the car you drive, the clothes you wear, the colour of your skin, your sexuality, how you speak, how you look, all that gets scrutinised. And I think we live in a pressure cooker world now, where we've seen it this week, one bad word, one slip of a tongue, one mistake, one bad piece of clothing, and could really harm your career or damage your life in a way. And we've seen high profile people take their lives because of media scrutiny, media pressure, expectation. So I think nowadays, communication is absolutely vital. The way we speak, the way we communicate, the way we hold ourselves, the way we behave, I think goes a long way to your employment and success if you're in the public eye.
Yeah, you've raised some really, really good points there. And we've got a question about mental health that's kind of, well, not really like increased, but we've become more aware over it over lockdown. And we've got a question about that later. But I'm currently able to study on campus 50% of the time, with the other 50% online, like we're doing now. How important do you think it is for UA92 to be able to deliver its courses to students in person during the pandemic?
I think it's absolutely vital. I think it's critical for the health and development of our people first. Forget the education side, for them as people to have face-to-face contact, to have that ability to have conversations, not through a screen. I think the screen at this moment in time is causing a lot of workforces, a lot of businesses, even though it's probably upped the level of productivity, it probably has a knock-on effect in terms of team spirit, togetherness, culture, values. Living those values on a screen is different than living them in person. And I think the conversations that you have face-to-face are far more vital than the conversations you can have over a screen. So I think the face-to-face contact, to be able to have that 50% of the time, I actually think we're really lucky. There are people in the world that are stuck in their apartments, stuck in their houses, stuck in their habitats, in their villages, not being able to communicate with people. And I think that, along with obviously the horrific pandemic that we're going through, is causing a lot of illnesses. And I think mental illnesses is a big thing, a lot of stress, and it's putting massive, massive pressure on people's lives and relationships and families.
Yeah. I mean, going back to how we can come into the university like the UA92, I think it's very useful because I can, I've never had experience with like really top quality cameras before because I'm doing a media course.
Yeah.
So I can just come in, ask one of my tutors for a camera, and they'll go, oh yeah, sure, you can borrow one for 2 weeks. Just make sure you bring it back. I mean, I did that last week. Brought it straight back. Got some great practice with it. Now I think I'm a pro, but I'm probably not. But yeah, it's really useful in that kind of way as well.
It is. I mean, if you think about this period, my daughter was part of the 2004-2005 age group that didn't do the GCSEs. You think about the football age group. You think about the 10 months lack of development, lack of training, lack of social development that we've had. And people in all walks of life, we've lost out on 10 months of social development, social activity, social communication. And if you look at any walk of life, any business, communication is the most important thing in any person, in any walk of life, in any business. And for the last 10 months, we've had to find ways of communicating that are far different than what we've had to communicate in the past. And yes, there have probably been massive plus points to that, but I think the negatives outweigh it. And to be able to go into a university, particularly at the ages that you guys are at, I think it's vital for the development, for your learning, for the ability to deal with people. And I should say, I'm fortunate. I'm in a profession where we can go to work. We can still deal with the people that we're in charge of. And that, I think, it makes us really lucky, because there are other businesses that at the moment, you go down the high street, they're shut down, they're under pressure, they're losing money, that don't have the same opportunities or profession to do that. So I think we're fortunate.
Yeah. In my first 6 weeks of UA92, I've already pitched ideas in front of Salford FC staff, created a podcast with a group of amazing people in my class. And now, of course, I'm interviewing you, Phil Neville. Now, why do you think this kind of hands-on industry experience is important for today's graduates?
Well, I think what's important for UA92 is that obviously you've got five Manchester United ex-footballers involved in a university. They've put their name to it, their brand to it. They've put their whole, financially, they've put money into it. So I think what's important is that you've got to put your money where your mouth is. You've got to make yourself accessible. When we go into something, we want to make sure that we're not just a name on the front of the building. We are the people inside the building, because ultimately we've got great experiences. And for the university to run like we want it to be, to run alongside our philosophies of what we've got at Salford City and what we've got in the hotel, you've got to be in there getting your hands dirty. You've got to be in with the workforce. You've got to be in the trenches with the people. And I think the experiences that we've had, Gary, Nicky, Paul, myself, Ryan, means that it's invaluable that we got to pass them on, because we've got real life experience. It's not just a textbook that we're reading from or a manual. We've got real life experiences that I think it's really important. And I think that's the commitment that we want to make. And also our network of people around us, we want to make that available to you guys to be able to go out there. And I always link it to coaching. There are thousands and thousands of fantastic coaches on a computer. But the reality is when you go out onto the football pitch, you've got to deliver. And that's what I think University 92 gives people, the opportunity to go out there and put into practice what they're learning. And if you don't put into practice what you're learning, I don't think you'll ever know how big your ceiling is. So I think that's a fantastic quality of the university.
Yeah. You guys bring the experience along with all the tutors as well. And we've also got access to Lancaster Library, all of it, which is absolutely massive. So you have got the textbooks there if you need it as well. And I think that's really, really great of you guys to actually, link up with Lancaster, a huge university, and we were able to get a really, really nice qualification out of that as well, with also the experience.
Yeah, I think obviously the brainchild of a university was ours, but ultimately, if you don't have really good foundation and backing, and to be linked with a university as brilliant as Lancaster was, if we hadn't have got that kind of link up, that kind of tie, that kind of partnership, I don't think the university would have been set up. I think we needed that kind of gravitas from a university that have been there and done it, and they've put the money where their mouth is, and they've developed some amazing university projects and university students, and they've got great success at success. And I think that was the key. And to be linked with them, I think, is probably one of the best things that we did.
Yeah, I'm a physical learner, and I learn best when I'm present and being focused on. Now, at UA92, we learn character and personal development as part of our degrees. Why do you think this approach of supporting the students achieve their individual goal or goals is so important, particularly today?
Well, I link it back to the type of learning or the type of teaching that we had. We were part of a team, but within that team, we had bespoke individual programs. Each player was treated differently. Each player was treated on their own merits. Each player had different characters, different traits, different skills, different abilities, and we were treated individually to develop our skills within a football team. And I think in terms of the character, I go back to what I said at the start, that you can be the best student, the best footballer, the best entrepreneur, but if you've not got the character, the desire, the determination to succeed, then forget the ability. Character's far more important than the ability. And so I think one of the things that we did at Salford City was that we developed our own bespoke program for our academy players, which was far different than what probably the main academies in England do. Yes, we have to fit into the structures just like the university do, but training the character of the person, taking them out of the comfort zone, allowing them to develop as people, and their characters to develop, I think is massively important, and probably, I'd say, equally as important, if not more important, than the actual degree that you're doing at the time, because without both, you're not going to get to the levels that you want to get to. And I think that's what makes this program and this university quite unique.
Yeah. Now, going back to the mental health, there's been a lot of awareness raised about it recently. And the need to be resilient in these changing times. We're also taught about resilience as part of our degrees here as well. Can you tell us about a time in your career which that you've had to deal with a challenge and how you've overcome the situation?
Oh, well, I think from a professional level, I've had many challenges. I got a real serious illness when I was 19. I got glandular fever, which I lost 1.5 stone, lost all my body mass. It was quite serious at the time. Had to really fight back, and I got back really quickly, 3.5 months, I think it was. But ultimately, it took me another 2 years to regain the body mass, the power, the ability, the durability to be able to compete at the Premier League level. Even though I was playing, looking back at some of the pictures, I was a shadow of the body or the athlete that I wanted to be. So that took a lot of mental strength in terms of the belief that I would get back to where I wanted to get to, the belief that actually it was going to be a slow process, and that there was times when I was going to be exposed physically, probably exposed to things that I couldn't probably handle, but I had to go through that. And then I suppose from away from football, in a life perspective, we had probably the biggest bombshell ever when we had the birth of my daughter. She was diagnosed after 1.5 years with cerebral palsy. Now, cerebral palsy is a muscle degenerative disability that affects bodies, limbs, muscles. And at the time, you have a baby and you think your baby's perfect, and then all of a sudden we got told she couldn't walk, and then we got told that she was probably going to be disabled for the rest of her life, which she is. And that was the biggest bombshell that I've ever experience because it's something so precious. And then all of a sudden, your mindset has to change from one of maybe feeling sorry for yourself, maybe feeling why me, into we've got to give this child the best opportunity to succeed, to be able to walk. And then 3.5 years later, with a mindset of that toughness, that ability to, push her as far as we possibly could in terms of a physio, in terms of a stretching, in terms of a physical program, she took her first steps. And then all of a sudden, that mindset was spreading to her. And now she's at my mainstream school. She's 16, going to college. And looking back, that was something bigger than football. That was something bigger than my own personal life. That was something that you go through that 3.5 year period where I nearly lost my wife, and my daughter was diagnosed as cerebral palsy, where you think that was a real character testing. And I never forget an old couple at the time. Me and my wife was out walking at the time, just probably consoling ourselves, thinking about what was around the corner for our little daughter. And they said to us, this baby was given to you as a challenge to you as a family, how you can come together, how you can pull together as a family to overcome these obstacles. And from that moment onwards, just a little saying like that brought us together as a family. Mums, dads, grandmas, granddads, aunties, uncles. All of a sudden, it was everybody. It was a massive learning curve for us all, in terms of, you're going to get bumps in life, and not life isn't always as you see it. And looking back, it was probably one of the greatest gifts that we've ever had. And now she's been part of a fundraising campaign that's raised £20 million to build an hospital for children in Manchester. And you think to yourself that has probably brought something out of us that we never thought we'd do.
Wow. Congratulations to everything, and also being so strong through it. UA92 provides support and opportunity for elite athletes to study whilst pursuing their sports career, which we know will last a finite amount of time. Why do you think it's important for athletes to diversify their skills so they can plan for a career after their sporting one?
I think it's vital. I work in the women's game now, and it's non-negotiable that alongside your football career, you've got to have something alongside that. A lot of the girls are studying at school for degrees. Some are doing their coaching badges. Some are doing media courses. And we see that as equally as important, if not more important, than the football, because a sports person's career is very short. It's a short shelf life, and through that you might get rejected, you might get an injury, and you have to prepare for a rainy day. You have to prepare for tomorrow. And I also think that it improves your skills in the job that you're doing at that moment in time. I at the last 4 or 5 years of my career, started to do my coaching badges, and indirectly that helped me on the training pitch and on the football field to become a better footballer. And I think that wide range of diverse things that I was doing is vital, because when I finished my football career, I wanted to go into another line of work, and that line of work was either the media or the coaching. And ultimately I had to study for that. I had to prepare for that. I had to put the hours in to do that. And I think nowadays, alongside the things that you're doing, and UA92 allows you to do this, you've got to have 2 or 3 branches to what you're doing, because ultimately life doesn't always take you in a straight road. There are curved roads, there are curved balls, there are dead ends, and you've got to make sure that you prepare for every eventuality.
Yeah, I think that's another thing UA is so brilliant at. It's diversifying your skills. So again, going back to the camera, I can now operate a fully functional TV camera and also a photography camera. So if I and script write and whatever, it teaches you so many different skills that you can use in the media.
Yeah, you've got to upskill yourself to every opportunity and take every opportunity that goes your way. That was something that my father said to me. If you've got an opportunity, grab it with both hands. As long as it doesn't take you off your eye off the ball of where your goal eventually wants to be, another skill to your bow, another string to your bow gives you another opportunity to be better than the person that you're competing with for the job that you want. And I think that is something that Sir Alex Ferguson used to always say to us, is that if you're only doing what your teacher, what your coach is telling you to do, that's not enough. You've got to do more. And I think that is something that I say to my players all the time. If you're only doing what I tell you to do, you're not doing enough. You've got to do more. And we call it we call it the 12, 14 reps. Be a 12, 14 rep athlete, be a 12, 14 rep footballer, not just the 10 reps that the fitness coach tells you to be.
Yeah, that's what I've seen with a lot of the tutors here as well. They've got that mentality to push the students. Now, following on from that, what are your hopes for UA92 students when they graduate?
The biggest thing for us, I think, is that when they graduate, they go straight into full-time employment. They go straight into what they want to do rather than scrapping around or taking a year out. We want to develop the character, the skills, the mindset of, you know what, in life you've got to work, and you've got to work really hard. And if you work really hard at your academic skills at university, college, etc., the day you leave university, the day I retired from football, I walked into another job. There was none of that period of what am I going to do? The stress that comes from where's my next paycheck coming from. The minute that I finished my career, I walked straight into a job because I'd planned, I'd prepared, I'd worked hard at it. And that's what we want for students at UA92. Grab the opportunity, work as hard as you possibly can. And the minute that you finish with us, we want you to be ready to step into full-time employment at a really good level and to be able to go on the journey that you want to go on.
Yeah, I think that's another thing about the school as well, is the timetables. So you've got the morning or the afternoons, and that carries on for 3 years, all the 4 years that you're here. And so that means that you can plan your life around your university. So you can get a job, you can take care of family members, you can do whatever you need to do around your university timetable, which I think is another great thing.
Yeah. Well, I think if you look at students and you read the papers, you think about student debts and student loans and repaying them over a period of time, even when you're in work, students have been crippled. You know, they've been suffered badly through financially not being able to put themselves through, or families through, their children through university. So I think that the flexibility in the timetable was crucial for us, because like we said before, diversify your work, go to school, get your academic qualifications, do your learning, but then alongside that, go out into the world and work, go out into the world and upskill yourself, go out into the world and continue to learn as well. And I think that the flexibility in the courses means that students can relieve some of that financial burden by earning money, which is a big part of life experiences.
That was a brilliant interview with Phil Neville. It was really good to chat to him. Back to you in the studio.
Welcome back, everybody. That was fantastic, wasn't it?
It was really good, yeah.
Yeah, great work, Jake, and thanks to Phil for sharing his time.
Okay, so now it's time to take a tour around the campus. We'd love to have welcomed you all here today, but for now, join Andrew here as we take a look around our fantastic facilities here in Manchester, and we'll meet some of the wider staff and students in our new 7-minute campus tour video. See you all soon.
Hi, I'm Katie.
And I'm Andrew.
And we're part of the student recruitment team here at UA92.
Welcome to Old Trafford, the home of our fantastic campus. Let's take a look around. When you first walk in, you'll find our student help desk, where our students can get support with well-being, social activities, accommodation, or anything else that they might need help with. So now let's head to the digital lab and meet one of our computer science students, Anita.
Hi, my name is Anita Shah. I'm a first year computer science student. As part of our learning, we will be spending a lot of time in the digital lab. In our degree, we will be learning how to make websites, coding, programming, and a lot more.
The team have worked tirelessly to make sure that our campus is safe and secure for all of our staff and students. We've reduced numbers on campus to make sure that all of our students can get 8 hours of in-person teaching every week. We've got a one-way system to move around the campus, and we've got hand sanitizer stations at all points. We have regular in-depth cleaning throughout the day, and in any social areas and teaching spaces, we have designated seating areas so that our students and staff are maintaining social distancing at all times.
I'm Bobby Hadcraft and I'm a second year journalism student here at UA92. This is our media lab. It's full of top of the range cameras, a podcasting studio and an editing suite in the back. We've used it to create news shows, podcasts and then edit it all in the back ready to submit our assignments. It'll also prepare us for the future in industry where we will use similar equipment. Now let's have a look around with our tutor Lawrence.
Hi, my name's Lawrence Brannan. I'm the course leader for Media, Journalism and Sports Journalism. Media and journalism students need access to top quality digital equipment. And at UA92, we have access to the Media Lab, which is a TV production space, it is an audio production space, and it is an editing and project management space. Students come in here on their different modules when they're working on their assignments, because they might be producing a digital magazine, a television program or a podcast, and they can use this space with supervision to create their assignments. So that's our Media Lab, but if you're interested in sports, have a look at our high-spec sports performance hub.
Hi, I'm Daisy and I'm a first year sport and exercise science student. This is the performance hub and this is where we get to put our theories in practice.
Hello everybody and welcome to UA92 Performance Hub. My name is Owen Murray. I'm the tutor here in sport and exercise science. So our Performance Hub at UA92 is very much a multifunctional space. It's a classroom for our students to learn on physiology, biomechanic modules.
Hi, I'm Fleur and I'm the course leader for Business Accounting here at UA92. This area is the deck. We use this area as part of our breakout for our lessons for our students, so rather than just being stuck in a classroom with us, they can actually work on real life tasks. In addition to that, we work with our industry partners such as KPMG and Talk, where they provide insight days and they come in and provide guest lectures for our students to get real life experiences. Because it's not just about being in the classroom and listening to us, it's actually about getting them ready for work and using that real life as part of their studies.
Hi, my name is Avila and I'm a second year accounting and finance student at UA92. So during my course specifically, we've had a lot of involvement with KPMG. We've had several insight days that we've gone to on their premises and we've had some guest speakers come in from their company to tell us about their job roles, and it's great finding out different roles that you can go into after you finish university and different career prospects.
Hi everyone, I'm Steph and I'm the Student Wellbeing Officer. Here at UA92, wellbeing is at the core of everything that we do. And as part of the Student Wellbeing Service, you can access one-to-one appointments with me. We have a range of wellbeing activities, which include yoga and mindfulness and fitness sessions. And we also have our inclusive support service. So if you have a long-term health condition, mental health condition, disability, or a specific learning difficulty like dyslexia, there's loads of support that we can help you to access.
The Wellbeing Centre is absolutely amazing. If you're a first-time student coming to Manchester or coming to uni, it has all the things that you may need if you're worrying about if you're homesick, if you've got financial hardship, if you're struggling with your mental health. There's always something there in the Wellbeing Centre, which is great.
Now I'm going to hand over to John, who's one of our second year students.
Hiya, I'm John and I'm a sport and exercise science student at UA92. I'm outside our campus today on this lovely day, and it's in a brilliant location right next to the tram stop, which is about a 10-minute journey to town, to Media City. You can go to the Trafford Centre, so many great places that you can go via the tram. And also, we're just over the road from Academy Apartments, which is a stone's throw away.
Thank you for joining us today to have a look around our incredible facilities here in Old Trafford, Manchester.
We look forward to seeing you soon, whether it's online or on campus at one of our open days. You can also drop us an email at hello@ua92.ac.uk.
See you soon.
Bye.
Welcome back, everybody. I hope you enjoyed that tour of our campus. That was pretty good, wasn't it, Daisy? I thought the host was particularly good, don't you?
Yeah, so did I. You know what? I thought the girl in the sports lab was quite good too, but you know. Okay, guys, it's time for a short break. Get up, stretch your legs, and make a fresh drink in your UA92 mug. During the break, you can check out our animations on character and personal development on our unique timetable.
After the break, we'll go straight over to a live Q&A with some of our amazing students and my colleague in the student recruitment team, Katie Campbell. See you in a bit.
Hi everyone, I'm Katie. I'm one of the student recruitment officers here at UA92, and I'm going to be joined here today by Regan, Millie, Alex and Luckman to talk through all of your questions that you have for our brilliant student ambassadors. So hopefully you've got a fresh cup of tea and you're ready to listen to our next kind of 15-minute session. So Regan, Millie, Alex and Luckman, could you please turn your cameras on, please?
Should be on now.
You're all good. Perfect. How are you all today?
Thank you. Really good, thanks.
Brilliant. While you're not answering your question, could you all mute yourself? There we go. Hopefully that's okay. So Millie, could you introduce yourself first and tell me what course you're doing? Oh, unmute yourself. Sorry, Millie.
Sorry.
Okay.
I'm Millie and I'm on the Media and Communications course at UA92 and I'm in my second year.
Excellent. Thanks, Millie. And over to you, Luckman. What course are you doing?
I'm doing computer science. I'm on my first year as well.
You're a fresh first year, aren't you? Brilliant.
Yeah.
Thanks, Luckman. What about you, Alex?
I'm a second year accounting and finance student.
Excellent. Thanks, Alex. And going on to you, Regan.
Hi everyone, I'm a second year PE student.
Thank you. Hopefully you can hear Regan okay. I think his Wi-Fi is a little bit on the blink at the moment, so hopefully we'll be able to sort that out. Coming to you first, Luckman, I know you're kind of fresh. I've just started kind of in your first year. How has your first kind of block gone in your degree course?
So it's the first year that UA92 are doing computer science, and I was quite reluctant of that because obviously it's the first year they're doing it, and there might be errors in the degree. But after completing the first block, I can confidently say that I really enjoy this degree, and it's just the environment, the opportunities, the actual content of the degree. It's just marvelous, to be honest. They're going to provide so many opportunities for me with like Microsoft and KPMG. And I'm going to get top 10 degree. It's just going to be one of the best things of all the other universities, to be honest.
That's great to hear. Thank you. And coming to you, Alex, what's been the best thing about studying at UA92? Obviously, you're in your second year, so you've kind of had a few more years after Luckman. So what have you been enjoying, and what's the best thing about studying at UA92?
So obviously the opportunities that you get given, but I think the one thing that needs to be noted is the support you get. So obviously when you start a new university, presumably it's the first time leaving home and things like that, and I think the support you get from UA92 is incredible, especially during these times as well. You can go to the help desk for anything. I think it's going to be talked about later on about support, and also Steph is really, really good, and I just think that it makes your whole experience so much better if you've got somewhere to go to, because it can be quite intimidating.
Yeah, I completely agree, and Steph is so wonderful with our students, and later on actually she'll be running a session with Ab, so if anyone's interested in this type of student support that we offer at UA92, then be sure to tune in at the end, and Steph will be talking with Ab. So thanks for that answer, Alex. And actually coming to you, Millie, what's been your favourite thing about studying at UA92 as well?
The opportunities that we've been given. So we've had like loads of guest speakers come into we've had at least 2 guest speakers each block. So both in the first year and the second year, we had Gary Neville come in and speak about his experience on Sky Sports. We had Phil Neville come on, and then we've had like Talk and KPMG. They've both come in through both our media courses and the CPD course.
Excellent. Thanks for that, Millie. And hopefully, Regan, your Wi-Fi is okay, fingers crossed. So coming to you, could you talk to me about how you came to choose UA92 and kind of the path that took you here?
Oh yeah, I've had to change the device, so yeah, hopefully you can all hear me.
Okay, sounds good.
Happy days, good stuff. So yeah, a few reasons really. First one, it'd be in Manchester. I'd been to Manchester a few times, being a big United fan. I visited the city on a few occasions and always enjoyed it. It's full of good people. Feels like, even though it's a massive city, it's one big community. It's all friendly people, and and do-gooders and people that kind of make it happen. And also, like I say, being a United fan, it appealed to me to start with because it was Class of 92 being the founders. That kind of pricked my ears up a bit, and I wanted to find out more. Came to an open day, met people, found out a bit more about it, and it ticked a few more boxes. And for the career that I'm looking to go into as well. So I'm looking to go into sports coaching. And obviously Manchester is well known for sport in general and specifically football, and that's my passion. So yeah, it's all getting connected with clubs in the area and just having the opportunity to, pursue the career of my dreams, if you like.
That's great to hear. Thanks for that, Regan. And actually coming back to you again, what type of industry partners have you worked with in your sports and exercise science course? Because I know that's always a question that I get asked. What are the industry partners like, and who is it that work on the sports course with our students?
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a wide range. Obviously, like I say, I'm more passionate about football. So when we've been into the likes of Salford City, Man United Women's, and we've had coaches come in like Phil Neville, who you heard spoke earlier today. He came into our lesson, and we've had a range of other coaches come in. And for me, that experience is what makes UA92 so good. And when you have these talks and go into these industry insight days, it's not just seeing how they're done. You have the opportunity to network as well. And that's what I make sure to take full advantage of whenever I get the opportunity, is to ask those questions and get a bit more insight into what it takes to pursue that career. You're speaking to people that have already made it and been successful at the highest level, and that's kind of my ambition as well. So having that opportunity to kind of pick their brain a little bit is something that I always look to take advantage of. Yeah.
That's great. Thank you so much for that, Regan. And a question that I'm going to actually just pop in that you guys probably aren't aware I'm going to ask you. So I was speaking to a lovely student before who I think is still on the call, and she was actually asking me what is the difference and what it's like to be a commuting student, but also or to live on accommodation. So we've got our accommodation like West Point and Academy Apartments. So could I come to you, Alex, first, because I know you're based in the accommodation with Manchester Apartments, and what's it like to be a student living next to campus?
I think it's really good because obviously it's only a 10-minute walk and it's pretty handy, and I think the Manchester Apartments are straight opposite the university, so I just think that it's really good for it's just really convenient, really, and also you don't have to pay for trams and buses and things like that. But I mean, if you're lazy, then you take your car. But I just think that it's really convenient.
Yeah,
and I like living by myself and having my own space and being quite close as well.
Yeah, and obviously I know you've got your friend Avila next door, haven't you? So you're not you can go and knock on her door and say hello.
Yeah,
that's
definitely.
Great.
Because a lot of students live in either West Point or Academy Apartment. So even though you live by yourself, you're still kind of all together if you needed anything or needed some support or anything like that.
Yeah, brilliant. Thank you for that. And coming to you, Luckman, you're a commuting student, aren't you?
Yeah, I am.
So how have you found kind of commuting to UA92?
So I travel about 2.5 hours every day on the bus and the tram, and it's quite painful, but I've actually made the most out of it. So I can do my work on the bus and maybe code or something. So I utilize it, but I'll be driving soon, hopefully, so it won't be as painful. And yeah, you can easily utilize the time. So you can on the bus maybe. So I'm obviously computer science, so I'd be coding or researching or whatever I do, and it just passes the time really quickly. So you're not really gonna realize it, to be honest.
Excellent. That's really good to hear. And it's always good to hear that you're using that time as best as you can. But it's always worthwhile to know that where we are based in UA92, there's like a tram stop right at the end of the road, and there's some good bus links as well. And coming to you, Millie, are you based in our Academy Apartments? Unmute yourself, Mill.
I'll keep doing that. So I'm actually at Manchester Apartments now, so at the West Point, but I've come home for over Christmas. But no, I look, because last year I commuted the whole year, which was a bit of a pain, but it was all right because it was only half an hour in the car. But this year's made it easier to socialise a little bit better. I know it's not, you can't really socialise now anyway, but I'm living with one of the students on my media course. So it's easier and nicer to have that university lifestyle.
And that's really great to hear. It's always nice to hear different students' opinions on kind of living on campus or commuting in, and it's entirely up to you what you do decide to do, and UA92 will support you in any kind of situation that you decide to live on campus or live a little bit further away and commute in. So thanks guys for that. I know I threw that question onto you, but thank you for answering so well. Coming to you, Regan, could I ask you a quick question? So obviously our brilliant student body are dealing with coronavirus at the moment, and so things have changed a little bit differently to how we were teaching last year. So the question is, how has coronavirus affected you and your studies here at UA92?
Yeah, so as you may have picked up on in that interview earlier with Phil Neville, I think Jake was mentioning how we've gone 50% from home and 50% on campus. That's exactly how it has been for me. So we have 2 days at home, and when I say from home, we're on a kind of call like today, well, using Microsoft Teams, and you're on the call with your tutor, or your classmates are there, and you can you have a virtual class basically, and it's as close to a classroom as it can be really. You can all turn your cameras on, you can all interact. My class is about 10 of us, I think there is, so it's quite intimate, and you're still able to, you know, unmute yourself and ask a question. And it's generally, my experience of it has been, your teacher would be doing a presentation, they share the screen on the laptop, as again, like we are doing something similar today. And you're still even able to have breakout sessions. You know, if we go and work into groups, we just go and join our own separate video call and discuss things in there. And you can even now, with the way all the technology is, if you're opening up a PowerPoint, you can all share it to one group and you can see it Shrubber editing it at the same time. So you still get that experience. And then, like I say, still being able to be on campus half the time is something that's been really important for me as well. I'm definitely one of them that likes to see people, and, you know, you buzz up other people's energy and just that general social aspect. So having that time on campus has been massive for me, and something that I really enjoyed, and has been been a good experience. And it's been easy transition really. You say, with the way things are, we all have to adapt, but it's been as smooth as it can be really.
Yeah, and definitely, and with the students and myself, we all use Microsoft Teams, don't we? So when we did have to go into lockdown kind of so quickly in March and April, it was quite easy just to transition to using Microsoft Teams, because you use it in your day-to-day kind of learning, and you have your digital Wednesdays as well. So it's nice to hear that you found it as easy as the rest of the students and also the staff. Thanks for that, Regan. So a question maybe for all of you actually is, I always get asked by students, what's Manchester like? So I'm not a native of Manchester, I'm actually from a little bit northern to Manchester. And I know that Luckman, you're based in Manchester, but coming to you, Millie, first, if that's okay, what is your favourite thing to do in Manchester, or what's your favourite thing about Manchester?
I love shopping. So Manchester's great for shopping, and obviously when we could, concerts at the MEN, I think that's quite I've always loved going there, so that's one of the best things about Manchester.
Excellent, thanks Millie. And coming to you, Luckman, obviously you're kind of based in Manchester, near Manchester. What's your favourite thing about kind of your hometown, your home city? It's
the nightlife. The nightlife is beautiful. Like, you just get the vibes. It's too good.
Okay, the nightlife from Luckman. What about you, Alex? So you're a Scouser by heart, aren't you? So what is the difference between Liverpool and Manchester? Please tell me you love Manchester as much as I do.
Yeah, I do, of course I do. I think one of my favourite things is, you know, during Christmas, probably not this year, but the Manchester Christmas markets are so good. And I really like, obviously, the nightlife as well, like Luckman said, but the Manchester Christmas markets are my favourite.
Excellent. Yeah, and hopefully we'll be able to see them next year. I know they've gone virtual this year. I don't know whether it'll be the same kind of nice Christmassy vibes, but hopefully next year we'll be able to see them properly. Thanks for that, Alex. And coming to you, Regan, I feel like you're going to go with more of a sports element to Manchester, but you could prove me wrong.
Yeah, you know me too well. So as I've already mentioned, big United fan. So yeah, we've got Old Trafford on the doorstep. It's about 5 minutes from campus, I say, if that. Literally stone's throw if you've got a good throw on you. And I'm staying at West Point. So, you know, when we are playing and when the crowds are allowed in, fingers crossed that's going to change as soon as possible, really. I take a 15-20 minute walk to Old Trafford and spend every other weekend there. So yeah, that's how I spend my weekends. And then if we're not playing, as Lookman's alluded to, the night out is pretty good. There's loads of places to go in Manchester. If you want a quiet night out, if you want a night out into the early hours, you can have a bit of both.
Yeah, you can find anything in Manchester, can't you? Thanks for that, Regan. And our final question that I'm going to ask all you guys. So you've all been in a situation where you've been applying to university, to UA92 via UCAS, or maybe you came through a direct entry form. Do you have one top piece of advice that you'd give to the students that are on this Zoom call today? What would you tell them to do, and what's your big top piece of advice? So coming to you, Millie, first, if that's okay.
So I'd just say be open. Because I wasn't sure if I wanted to go to university before I came to UA92, and I just went in with an open mind and absolutely loved it. So if you keep an open mind with it all, that's the best piece of advice I'd say.
Great, thanks, Millie. Then coming to you, Lookman, next, if that's okay. Or just unmute yourself, Lookman.
Sorry. So yeah, because I'm computer science, it was a bit different for me because I need to look at the course content. So I'd advise just make sure it's what you want to do, because certain parts it's different for every university.
Yeah, I completely agree. So there may be some university courses that have the same computer science name, but they may have different module contents. They may use different types of software. So Lookman's advice is really, really pertinent. You need to check the course module content and do as much research as you can around the degree. Thanks for that, Lookman. And coming on to you, Alex, your top piece of advice?
I think schools put a lot of pressure, our colleges put a lot of pressure on students. So my advice would be that if you work as hard as you can, but if you don't get exactly what you want, don't stress about it, because there's so many options you can go for. So I think it's just best if you just stay calm and just look for all the opportunities you can go for.
Yeah, definitely. That's a really good piece of advice, because I know that you came through UCAS clearing, and it's such a scary time for our students doing A-levels and BTECs. So it's really worthwhile to just stay calm, don't feel too pressured, but remember to hit your deadlines and just work as hard as you can. So thanks for that, Alex. That's excellent. And coming to you, Regan, for the final piece of advice to our students.
Yeah, I would say just ask yourself questions, look within, ask yourself what's your passion, what do you want to pursue, and you might not have all the answers. You don't need to know exactly what you want to do, but if you can find some sort of an idea of what your passion might be in the kind of industry that you'd like to go into, you've got 3 years to kind of explore yourself and find exactly what you really do enjoy and what kind of career you'd like to have. So yeah, ask yourself what you want to do and what you want to achieve. If you can get them answers, then great, and go for it and believe in yourself, and yeah, good luck.
Thanks, Regan. You should be a motivational speaker. You make me feel very motivated. And I'd just like to thank all of our brilliant student ambassadors. So thank you guys for answering all these questions. And if you have any other questions for our student ambassadors, myself and Regan will be on the chat so we can answer anything else for you. So I'd like to go, thank you guys so much for joining me. And I'd like to send you all back to the studio with Andrew and Daisy. Thank you for joining me. Bye.
Thank you very much, Katie, and welcome back, everyone. It's always great to hear from our fantastic students.
Here at UA92, our courses are industry-led, and we work with an extensive network of industry-leading companies who do so much to shape the UA92 experience. For example, like co-design our degree courses, give guest lectures, and provide insight days. But it's not just our partners that help. We do also have extensive industry expertise within UA92.
That's right. We're now going to hear from our Director of External Affairs, Claire Riding, and 2 of our fantastic partners, so Justin Walton from Microsoft, as well as Sam Davies from TalkTalk. And we've also got a renowned broadcaster, Phil Jones, who also works as a UA92 tutor on our journalism course, as well as our second-year journalism student, Bobby. Over to you, Claire.
Thanks, Andrew. Welcome, everybody. Thanks for joining us. I'm absolutely delighted to be joined today by our fantastic panel of Sam, Justin, Phil and Bobby. So if you guys can all turn your cameras and mics on and say hello, that would be great.
Hi, Claire. Good to see you.
Hi. Hi everybody, thanks for joining us today. It's brilliant to see you all. So I'm going to kick off with a few questions. I'll start with you, Justin, if that's okay. So you're from Microsoft, obviously, one of our wonderful partners. What are the main areas of your partnership with UA92, and how does your partnership with us align to your business goals?
So I think first things first, in terms of kind of real partnership, we're actually in the building. We're in the campus building that Regan spoke about. So we have the opportunity when we're able to share that wonderful kind of environment. So I think Microsoft buying in for a period of years, for sure, as a minimum, to be part of this kind of UA92 experience is fairly significant. I think in terms of the things that gives us, it gives us a real opportunity as an external kind of global organisation to meet with and rub shoulders with the academics, with the teaching staff, with the students, importantly. And rather than just sitting on the Microsoft side of the fence, actually communicate with the people who are consuming the software and the experiences that Microsoft can offer. So I think that's really important. And we recognise that we can learn a lot from you through doing that as well. Massively important is kind of digital skills, digital literacy. It's been talked about. It's not going away. It's becoming more prevalent and important in every job that people do, whether that's kind of nursing all the way to sort of high tech and coding, as I think Lukman was talking about. It's in every industry, whether you can see it or you can't. And Microsoft owns an organization called LinkedIn Learning, which, you know, the insights that come from LinkedIn Learning will tell you that we just don't have the digital skills and digital literacy in the graduates today to meet the growing demands of the businesses out there. So the fact that UA92 placed that front and center of the experience that they give alongside the degree is absolutely critical. So we're delighted to be able to support that.
Thanks, Justin. And I think that is a really key point, isn't it? You know, digital skills are so important, and it's obviously not just for our computer science students. We make sure that it's a part of every single degree that we offer at UA92. So thanks for that. Sam, if I can come over to you and ask you how you support students during the course of their time at UA92.
Yeah, absolutely. So within Talk, we're obviously another partner of UA92. For many reasons, we're just based around the corner, which is obviously handy, and we have a lot of kind of cultural similarities within how UA92 run and how Talk run as an employer. So some of the ways that, you know, we support students is we are part of the 92 Champions Club, I suppose, which is where we sponsor some students through their degree. But we also wanted to have a much more hands-on approach in our way of supporting them on studies. So, for example, we hold things like industry insight sessions where a group of students pre-COVID would come over to our head office building and see what it's really like to work there in an office environment. We try and link students up with people around the business that we feel would be a really good support for them as a mentor perspective. We've delivered guest lectures. Like one of the students mentioned before, we've took part in some of the CPD, the behaviours and skills to bring them to life. So many different ways, and many more over the next few years we plan to as well.
Brilliant, thank you, Sam. Justin, can I ask you the same question? Just, I guess, following on from the first question I asked you, how, in practical terms, how do you support our students when they're studying with us?
Yeah, I mean, Microsoft is in everybody's kind of life, like it or not, and most people do, in fairness. But I think, firstly, in terms of technology, having kind of designed and built what you wanted the UA92 experience to be and the component parts, clearly the digital nature was a big part of that. So we worked closely with the Academy to kind of help you build the right environment, an environment that some could only wish to be able to build, if that makes sense, because they're looking at sort of decades of legacy ways of working, and the scale is different. So we certainly support in terms of the technology, making sure that the students and the staff are able to benefit from the actual technology from Teams and the various ways that Teams can be used. I think in terms of collaboration, again, I don't want to pick on Regan every time, but you know, when you talk about how do you get, and in fact, Phil Neville was talking about how do you replicate that personal kind of experience of meeting with people, and Regan said buzzing off others. You know, actually technology can help you do that as well as it can possibly be done. And I think that's kind of one of the key things that we do at Microsoft, is make sure that we're constantly developing the software, and you absolutely get made aware of all of those key elements. In terms of the computer science degree, I know that the university has worked with Microsoft colleagues of mine to make sure that the content is the latest, and that the access to some of the free additional sort of student-led capabilities are known about and are actually sort of put out to the students as well. So again, for Lookman and others who are interested in a bit of extra development, whether it's in AI, whatever particular component part of computer science, it's out there, and Microsoft is consistently building that and refreshing and making sure that that's kind of current, really. So I think that the whole thing is all about exiting after 2 years or 3 years with the degree that you're interested in, and being in the best possible place to actually secure that job that you're after.
Absolutely. Thanks, Justin. Phil, if I can come over to you now. You joined us as one of our journalism tutors with a very successful career in journalism. How does your industry experience influence what you teach UA92 students?
Yeah, it's a massive thing for me, and that's what attracted me to UA92 in the first place, was the ability to get students out there into the workforce, have this connection with companies, real life practice, really. And obviously, I've done a couple of modules recently with journalism students where we do the academic side of things as well. Of course we do. This week we've been doing the history of journalism and things like the Fourth Estate, and we also do things on ethics and law, journalistic law, that is, things like concept of exclusivity and all that kind of thing. So they get all that grounding as well, but then it's putting it into some kind of practice, which is key. And so I'm able to bring my own personal experiences to the table, really, and what I've experienced, because I started out just down the road from UA92. I'm a Salford lad. I started out at a press agency in Salford that worked for the Manchester Evening News, and so I was doing court reporting and all that kind of thing initially, and then got into sport, working with the Evening News. Then I worked for Piccadilly Radio through the agency as well, and that developed my broadcasting skills. Ended up working for the BBC in London behind the scenes, worked in America for CNN presenting, came back, reported for the BBC. So I've got all the areas covered, really, that I can pass on that knowledge to the students. If they want to talk about broadcasting, if they're interested into going into that, then I can help them with that. If they like the idea of the written word and going into online journalism or newspaper journalism, then I can help them with that. And I can tell them the pitfalls that I've experienced through the years as well. Often, Phil Neville alluded to it earlier on, it's sometimes, you learn more from your mistakes that you make. And if I can point those out to the students and say, listen, this happened to me, this was embarrassing, try not to do that, get the basics nailed and you'll be fine. And that's what I try and do. And I try and bring those stories to life for them in the classroom, yeah.
And absolutely invaluable to have somebody in the classroom who has walked the walk, as well as somebody that can talk the talk. So I think, real asset to our students. Thank you, Phil. So Bobby, if I can come over to you, you're in your second year at UA92, and we're all really proud that you've recently got a new job as a news correspondent for your local newspaper, the Holderness News. How do you think your time studying at UA92 so far has prepared you to find such a brilliant opportunity?
I think the main thing was actually having the confidence to apply in the first place, because when I saw the role advertised, the first person actually told about it was Phil, because I found it during our last module, so the first one of second year, which was news journalism. And funnily enough, a lot of the things we learned kind of were parallel with the kind of things I do now. But it was also kind of engaging with industry partners in the summer as well. So Kevin Palmer, who was a guest speaker in first year, over the summer, when you wouldn't really expect to have a lot of engagement with the university, he helped us to get bylines on a professional sites, news sites on the internet, and that really helps you kind of gain confidence, think that you have got that quality of writing in this case, but also I'm trying to bring new ideas to the paper. So I've actually had the confidence to suggest things for the social media because of things that we learned last year about content creation and video. So they published a short news piece that I did to their Twitter page and Facebook pages. So it's just kind of getting my ideas out there and having the confidence to suggest these changes rather than firstly kind of get the job, but also try and improve the kind of the workplace.
Brilliant, and massive well done again, Bobby. I hope you're enjoying it. I'm sure you're very busy. So Sam, if I can come back to you, I'm interested in at Talk what attributes and behaviours you look for when you're recruiting graduates, and how you think at UA92 we can help foster those characteristics.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think now more than ever, graduates are entering a really competitive market when looking for roles and jobs within the industry. So having a degree is amazing now, the wealth of knowledge that brings, but it's not necessarily enough on its own. And that's why the way that UA92 put such a good focus on the continuous professional development and the extracurricular skills that they encourage students to learn and to put into practice is so valuable to businesses. At Talk, we really do we do look for those behaviours in people. So anything around entrepreneurial spirit, resilience, great communicational skills, get up and go, initiative drive, all of those things are really crucial for us. And it's one of our values as a company is you can be yourself here. And we really do encourage that in terms of people bringing their full self. And not necessarily acting in a way that maybe they think corporate businesses would want them to. And we really want people to be authentic. So, the way that students at UA92 in particular can engage with us before they graduate, and we can tap into the great talent that's coming through is just so important for us. And, hopefully when the first cohort of students come to graduate, we'll have first dibs on some of them coming through, because, we can see how much support and focus that they get on that, and it's like I said, it's invaluable. So yeah, really important.
That's brilliant, thanks Sam. And yeah, you've got to know a lot of our students very well already, so I'm sure you'll be in their hit list of graduate employers. Justin, if I can finish with you then on the same question, if that's okay, the kind of characteristics that Microsoft would look for in graduates, and how you think we can help our graduates get those characteristics.
Yeah, and I was recently part of a panel talking to a number of people looking for internships and graduate positions. And actually, it was interesting when the interviewing panel all sort of circled back and said, why did you feel strongly towards this person, or what qualities and characteristics did you see? And I think that's different to the last time I joined one of these events. But I find myself being very drawn to people. I mean, again, I'm going to use some of your buzzwords, but not because they're yours, but because I think they're very relevant. And so the kind of resilience, so not under pressure, but under questioning. Can somebody give an example of when they've really done or dealt with a particular challenge in their life in the way that, Phil probably had to address? I think massively looking for people who've got some sort of character, and character means different things to different people. It doesn't mean being the liveliest, being the one to make everybody laugh. It means, something completely different, having something about yourself. I think a sense of awareness of yourself. And again, to Sam's point, be your true self, be your real self. I think people do their best work when they're happy and when they're comfortable. And I think that comes out, and that has to come from you. That can't be taught, but I think it can be teased out. And again, I look at a lot of what you do within your programs, and it allows people to explore that, because again, young adults don't always know exactly what they are, or maybe they've not finished developing fully in terms of what they're all about either. So there's still a bit of exploring being done there, really. But the other thing is, we didn't pick the people with the highest academic credentials. That's something I really want to call out. We picked the people that we thought would bring the greatest value, bring different views, different insights, who could accommodate others' views, who could encourage, some of the older in career people to maybe see things differently. So it was a really rounded kind of set of things that we were looking for. You have to have a minimum level of ability in the role, of course, but really for me, it's that character that really shone through.
Thank you, Justin. That's a really interesting answer. Thank you so much. And a massive thank you to all our panel members, actually, for joining us today. I really enjoyed talking to you, as always. So we're going to take a short break now again, and after the break you'll be able to hear from Josh, who will be talking about applying to UA92 and student finance. And during that break you'll be able to watch a video of student accommodation, which you heard some of our students talk about earlier. So feel free to take a break, stretch your legs, get a drink, and we'll see you back again in about 5 minutes. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
Oh.
Hi everyone, I hope you can all hear me okay. So you've just seen there a really informative video on our offers of student accommodation. So you've seen there Academy Apartments. So Academy Apartments, as you saw in the video, a stone's throw away from our campus at UA92. We also have West Point, as you'll have heard some of the guys talking about in the previous sessions. West Point is a very similar building, about sort of 5 or 10 minutes walk down the road from the campus, owned by the same company. So the building itself inside and the rooms and the facilities are all exactly the same as what you've seen on screen there for Academy Apartments. So if you've got any questions about the accommodation, either put them in the chat now, or if you want to join in the Q&A at the end, or if you want to use any of the contact details or any of our socials, just drop us a line and we'll more than happily answer any questions you've got on accommodation. So my name's Josh. I'm here today to talk to you about applying to UA92 and student finance. So not the two most glamorous of subjects, but obviously two vital parts of the application process, obviously, and being with us at UA92. So we're going to start with a short bit about UCAS and direct applications to UA92. So at UA92, there are two ways that you can apply to join us. So we've got the direct application and we've got UCAS. So a direct application is for those people who the main part is here that you already hold all your qualifications. So if you've got all your qualifications, get in touch and we can sort out a direct application form, and I'll go into that in a second. Alternatively, there is UCAS as well. So UCAS is for those people who are still working towards their qualifications. So if you're doing your A-levels or your BTECs or whatever it is you're doing currently. So we're going to start briefly with applying directly to UA92. So if you're looking to apply directly, like I said, you've already got to have all your qualifications complete. And that means complete as in you've got your certificates, you've got the pieces of paper and the transcripts and everything like that. You can't be waiting on any of those qualifications. As well, you can't already have a live application in the UCAS system. So what it stops us doing, and rightly so, is people sort of sneaking in an extra application as well as a UCAS form as well. So if you want to apply direct, got to have everything in place already, and you can't already have a UCAS application, a live application. If you're interested in a direct application form, what you need to do is ask a member of the team, so whether that's via email or an event like this, for a direct application form. We will email that out to you. What you need to do is complete that, obviously, and return it to us, along with evidence of the qualifications that you are using for entry. So evidence is things like a clear photograph or a clear scan or a clear copy of the certificate that shows your name, the qualification type, and your final grade. You then need to submit that with the completed application form to us. The rest of the application form is quite straightforward. So obviously personal details, your education background. It does still require, however, a personal statement and a reference as well. So your reference can be an educational one, it can be a professional one, a character one, but it does still require the personal statement and the reference. There's no charge for a direct application. So like I said, if you're interested and you think a direct application might be right for you, drop us a line, use the chat, use the socials or emails or anything like that, and let us know. So UCAS is the other way to apply to UA92. So UCAS is the University and College Admission System, if anyone's wondering what that stands for. And basically, it's an online system that is used for applying to university. It's quite straightforward in that sense. Traditionally, it's mainly used by those in schools and colleges. So if you're still in school or you're still in college and you're working towards your qualifications, traditionally you will be the people looking to use UCAS. However, that's not exclusive. So if you are not in a school or a college, you can still use UCAS. If you're still working towards your qualifications and you're doing so yourself, you can still you're still welcome to use UCAS. So with UCAS, the difference is you can apply for between 1 and 5 universities. So that can be for different courses at 5 different universities, or it could be 5 different courses at the same university or any combination thereof. So that's the main difference between applying direct and UCAS. So direct is just direct to us just for one course at one university. UCAS, obviously, if you've got different courses at different universities. So with UCAS, there is a fee, there is a charge. So within that, there are 2 options. So within UCAS, you can apply to just one university. That costs £20. If that is unsuccessful, or if you don't want to accept the offer that you get made, hopefully, or you don't receive the offer, you can then enter what's called clearing, which we'll go into shortly, and that costs another £5. Alternatively, for £25 in one go, you can apply for up to 5 universities, like I said earlier, and you can then go into clearing on top of that as well, should you wish, and there's no extra charge there. So it's entirely up to you guys how you want to do it. 20 quid for the single application, and then another £5 on top if you then wanted to go into clearing or anything else, or pay the 25 quid straight away, and that gives you access to 5 choices and then clearing on top of that should you need to. So what goes into your UCAS application? So your UCAS application is similar to the direct application in terms of what goes into it. So you've got your personal details, education history, predicted grades on your current subject, so whatever you're working on at the moment, the courses and universities obviously that you want to apply for, your reference and your personal statement. That all goes into your UCAS application, and that will then come through to us. So your reference traditionally, if you're coming through your school or your college or whatever, will be by your tutor. And if you are looking to apply directly, like I said, the reference can be from a professional one or something like that. So that's what goes into your UCAS application. So UCAS has a series of important dates that you need to be aware of. So the 4 main dates are on the screen now: the 15th of January, the 15th of February, the 30th of June, and the 6th of July. There's tons of other important UCAS dates out there as well that are all on their UCAS calendar you can access, but these are the 4 you need to pay attention to if you're applying through UCAS. So 15th of January is, its official name in UCAS terms, is the Equal Consideration Deadline. That basically means that if you submit your application by the 15th of January, that every university has to assess that application fairly and with no priority, basically. If you submit after that deadline, universities can then prioritise applications that came in before the 15th of January. It doesn't mean, however, that if you miss that 15th of January deadline, that's it. That absolutely is not the case. So when you hear people talking about the UCAS deadline, you've got to get it in by the 15th. Yes, if you want it to meet the equal consideration deadline, but don't worry if you don't meet that 15th of January deadline. So the 15th of February is the next deadline, and that's when UCAS Extra opens. So UCAS Extra means that if from your first 5 choices or up to 5 choices, you didn't receive any offers, you don't want to accept any of those offers, you want to decline them, or you've had a change of heart and you want to try a different subject or something like that, UCAS Extra is for you. So UCAS Extra, you can add 1 new choice at a time, at a different university or for a different course or whatever. And that is basically, if you're not holding any offers from the 15th of January, you can start adding single choices after that from the 15th of February. Next one is the 30th of June. So the 30th of June, basically, applications received after this point will automatically go into clearing, again, which we'll come on to in a minute. So you've got plenty of time, obviously, from the 15th of January all the way through to the 30th of June, if you miss that initial deadline, to still go through the UCAS Extra period. After the 30th of June, you then move into clearing, and clearing officially opens on the 6th of July. So that's the last important date we've got on the screen there. So clearing is for people who didn't receive any offers or none that you wanted to accept. So you did receive them all, but you don't want to accept any of them. You didn't meet the conditions of any offers or anything like that, or if you declined your firm place. So clearing, obviously, it has quite sort of negative connotations, clearing. Don't worry about that. Clearing is not a negative thing whatsoever. Clearing is basically when you can get in touch with universities directly. You can call me basically and say, I'm interested in your accounting and finance course. I'll say, yes, we've still got vacancies, and we can then go through an application there and then on the phone using your UCAS details, and we can potentially get an offer out to you sort of there and then. So there's plenty of opportunities within the UCAS cycle here for you to get an application in, whether that's through the main cycle, which runs up until the 15th, through 15th of January, that is, UCAS Extra running from the 15th of February all the way up to the end of June, or then through clearing from the 6th of July onwards. And don't worry about those dates. Don't worry about writing them all down. Like I said, if you Google the UCAS calendar, they've got a really good tool on their website that has all of these dates there for you. So In terms of entry requirements for all our UA92 courses, so a degree course at UA92, all the degree subjects have the same level 3 qualifications of 104 UCAS tariff points. So we don't use grades as our requirements, we use points as our requirements. So 104 UCAS tariff points. So the two most popular qualifications we receive, obviously, from applicants are A-levels and BTECs. That's not to say that we don't accept anything else. We're really open, and that's why we use the points-based tariff as to what we'll accept. But 104 UCAS tariff points from A-level works out at BCC. From a BTEC, National Extended Diploma, works out around a DMN, something around there. Like I said, because we use the points offer, any qualification that is on the UCAS tariff, we are open to considering. So bear that in mind when it comes to your application. Don't leave anything off. If you think, oh, you know, I've got a piano grade 6 or something, stick it on your application. You never know, it might be worth some UCAS points. We'll come on to the UCAS calculator in a second where you can find that out. Our second course that we run is the Certificate of Higher Education. So the Certificate of Higher Education is just the first year of the degree. Studied with the degree students, but you just study the first year. If you're successful on the certificate, you have two options. So those two options are, A, you can either say, thank you very much, I'll take that qualification, we all shake hands or bump elbows as we have to do these days, and you leave with a really good qualification that's accredited by Lancaster University and is a proper standalone qualification in itself. Alternatively, if you pass that first year, just as everybody else would have to on the full degree, you would then just move straight on to the second year of the degree with everybody else that you've been studying the first year with. There'll be no difference whatsoever in that first year as to if you were doing the cert, as it's known, the cert HE, or the degree. Everybody studies together, you get treated exactly the same level of access to all the facilities at UA92. It's just a really good way to sort of dip your toe into the world of HE and UA92, of higher education and UA92, to say, is this what I want to do, without committing to full 3 years straight away. The entry requirements for that are 64 UCAS points. So from A-level, that works out at about 2 Cs. From BTEC, it works out at about MPP, so merit pass. Those points that I'm talking about there are all on the UCAS tariff calculator. So again, if you just Google UCAS calculator and go onto their website, like I said, they've got loads of great tools. The best one for me, I think, being the UCAS tariff calculator. So basically what you do, you go onto that website, there's some boxes for you to fill in, you put in the qualification, you put in the grade, and it tells you the points that it's worth. And you can put all your qualifications in, it adds them all up for you, basically does my job for me, tells me what qualifications, tells you what qualifications you have and what they are worth. And then you can obviously measure that up against what course you're interested in applying for. All of our courses have their level 2 requirements as well, so that's GCSEs, that's what level 2 is, and get in touch with us to ask about those, because there's slight variations in that, but the general consensus for the degrees is 5 grade Cs or level 4 or above, including your English and maths, and at the Certificate of Higher Education, we look for 2 grade Cs at level 4 or above, one of those being English or maths. Get in touch about level 2s if you have any questions, but that's the general consensus there. So we're going to move on now then to the 2 other options that we have in terms of courses. So if you don't meet the requirements for either of these, don't worry, all is not lost. So we have 2 further options. We have firstly our Access to Higher Education course. So an Access to HE course is something that we offer that is run in conjunction with Trafford College. And it's a 1-year programme that is designed ideally for people over the age of 19. And it is a course that really helps learners develop their skills to come onto a degree course or a certificate course eventually after that 1 year. So if you successfully pass the Access course, you will be guaranteed an offer of a place on a course at UA92 afterwards. It's delivered in conjunction with Trafford, but it is still delivered on the UA92 campus, so you still get that full UA92 experience. In terms of entry requirements for that, we look for just 2 GCSEs, so that's your English and Maths at grade C or level 4 or above. If that isn't quite right for you, still don't worry, we have one last option, and that is the Step Forward at UA92 course. So Step Forward is a 6-week course that's completely free, run by ourselves at UA92. This is a course designed for people who might not necessarily have the academic background, but have really good work and life experience that stands them in good stead for a course at UA92. So this is something that will help get you ready for the academic side of things, whilst taking into consideration all your professional experience and your work experience. This course doesn't necessarily have strict entry requirements, but what we would do is probably invite you in for an interview or something like this over Zoom or Teams or something. And then potentially that we may ask you also to complete a short literacy and numeracy test, just to make sure you've got the abilities to go on to an academic course afterwards. So that's a really quick whistle-stop tour of applying to UA92 and the entry requirements and different types of courses that we offer. And we're now going to move on to our bit of a chat about student finance and how to apply. So I thought we'd start with a question on student finance. So what's going to happen is, hopefully in a second, we'll be able to bring up a bit of a poll for you. So it's just this one question, and I wanted to get an idea of your knowledge of student finance. So just select the one that best applies to you out of these. So how much do you know about student finance? Would you say you're an expert? Would you say you've got a pretty good grasp? Would you say that you know a little bit here and there, the odd ins and outs? Not much at all. Or you haven't really got a clue what it is. Don't worry, student finance is a confusing thing. I'm going to tell you hopefully everything you need to know. So if you want to select which one applies to you, and then hopefully that'll give me a good idea of what we're looking at here. And then I've got a few short slides and a bit of information about student finance. So click the one that best applies to you. So I've got the results coming through to my phone of what we can see here. So we've got a good mix of everyone. We've got the biggest category looks like it's been a few people know the ins and outs, which is what we'd expect, because it's something that until you need to use it, why would you want to know too much about it? So thank you all for filling that in. So that gives me a really good idea of what we're looking at here. So we're going to move back on to the slides now. So student finance, what do you need to pay for basically when you're a student? So you've got your three biggest outgoings as a student. So those three big outgoings are your main three are your tuition fees, your accommodation costs, and your living costs. And we'll go into how that all works in all three of those. So the costs for your course as a UK or EU student for 2021 entry, the course itself costs £9,000 per year for a full-time 3-year degree. Most students choose to take out a student loan to cover this £9,000. So first things first, what is always good to remind people is that you don't need to have £27,000 sitting in your bank for 3 years of study. That's not how this works. So, you know, that can often put people off and worry people. You don't need to have that £9,000 sitting in your bank for each year. So the loan comes through from the student loans company and is paid directly from the student loans company to UA92 with your name on it. And that's how that works. And we'll go into that in a second. One thing I do want to point out is that from July 2021, the EU students will be charged international fees. So if you are an international student, obviously these fees are slightly higher. And you can see, if we can change over here, that the international fee is 13,770 per year for international undergraduate study. EU fees as of July 2021 will line up with that. And overseas and international students don't have access to the Student Loans Company or Student Finance England. That's what the SFE stands for there. If you're an international student, check out that website there. They pronounce that as UKISA. And they have all the varying fee statuses, so whether you're international or whether you're settled in the UK or all these different complicated things. So check that out, or get in touch via the chat, or like I said, the socials, or drop us a line on the email addresses, and we'll be able to look at individual cases. So how do you apply for your student finance? So you apply online. It's an entirely online application, and then there's supporting evidence that you can submit. So you go to www.gov.uk/student-finance. That's the best place to start. Go on there. There are guides on there as well. You can apply for your finance. Excuse me, you can apply for your finance without having your offers or your grades or anything like that in place. So it's not open just yet for obviously for September 2021, but it will be usually around January, February time. So you can start an application as soon as then. I'd recommend starting it sooner rather than later when it's open, because obviously you want to make sure everything's in place and you don't want to have any hiccups or anything like that. So give yourself bags of time. So your tuition fee loan will cover your course amount typically. There may be the odd case again, so if you've already done some university study elsewhere or things like that, but again, if you think that might be applying to you, get in touch with us. But typically your university course fee will be covered by your tuition fee loan. So on top of that, eligible UK students can then apply for what's called a maintenance loan. So your maintenance loan is what people traditionally use to put towards their accommodation and their living costs and things like that. A maintenance loan can be up to £9,203 per year or £7,747 per year if you live at home. The 9,200 is if you're living away in the accommodation, 7,747 if you're living at home. The amount you can get, you are awarded is what's called means tested. So that means that it's based on evidence that you submit to the student loans company. So things like household income, the postcode area in which you live, all those kind of things. And that's where you submit your evidence. So how much you'll get up to that amount is based on things like that. Repayment of both the tuition fee loan and your maintenance loan combine into one sum, and we'll go into how it gets paid back shortly. But both fees roll into one in terms of payments, repayments, sorry, to the student loans company. The maintenance loan as well, just like with UCAS before, there is a maintenance loan calculator that will give you a rough idea of what you can expect to be awarded. So if you go onto Google again and just Google maintenance loan or student loans calculator, you can get a rough idea, obviously without having to submit all the evidence. The only way to know exactly what you'll get, obviously, is to submit a full application. But this way, using the calculator will give you a really helpful rough guide of what you can expect. And lastly, your maintenance loan is paid to you in 3 installments. So if you think that you might need some help with budgeting or something like that, get in touch with our wellbeing service, get in touch with our colleagues in that team who are going to be able to help you with budgeting and things like that. So, as promised, we'll talk a little bit about paying back your loan. So repayments are made automatically through the tax system. So you don't need to get in touch with anyone to start the payments or anything like that. Payments will come out of your paycheck basically, and will start once you start earning over the threshold during any given pay period. And we'll go in a second into what that threshold is. So the amount you pay back is 9% of the income you earn over the repayment threshold of £2,214 per month, and that's before tax and any other deductions. So this means that you're not actually going to start paying anything back until you're earning over £26,568 per year. So you'll start repaying your loan back, whether you're an employee of a company, whether you're self-employed, or whether you're overseas, from the 6th of April the following year. So after you graduate, that's when you start paying it back, but not until then at the earliest, 6th of April, and not until you're earning more than that 26,500, just over £26,500. So a really easy example to give here is if you are earning £30,000 a year, let's say 30 grand a year. So before tax, that works out at £2,500 per month. You'd be repaying 9% of £356, because £356 is how far over per month you are that threshold of £2,214. So it's not 9% of your income, it's not 9% of your monthly or yearly income, it's just 9% of what you are over that threshold of 2214. So if you're earning 30 grand, you're taking home before tax and everything else, £2,500 a month. You pay back 9% of £356, so roughly about 30 quid, 32 quid a month. And then the more you earn, the more you'll pay back. But again, you don't need to notify the student loans company about paying anything back. It just automatically comes out of your paycheck, the same as taxes and your national insurance and everything like that. All this information, again, is on the Student Finance website. So if you want to make a note of it, feel free from here. Alternatively, like I said, go onto the Student Finance website in your own time, get yourself a cup of tea and just have a good read through it, because there's a lot of information to take in. As I keep saying, though, we are here for you in terms of helping you with the applications, helping you with any information that you might need. So get in touch either now or get in touch when you've had 5 minutes to sort of take all this information in. So in terms of bursaries, scholarships and grants, so we have, as was mentioned earlier, what's called our Kickstart grant. So Kickstart is available to anybody who lives in Greater Manchester and who meets the criteria we'll get onto shortly. So we have 92 of these Kickstart grants available, and each of them are worth £5,000 paid directly to the student over your 1 or 3 years with us. If you're here just for the 1 year, that obviously gets prorated down. If you're here for the whole 3 years, that gets paid to you over the whole 3 years. So Kickstart is for anybody who has been adversely affected by the coronavirus crisis, who's from and lives in the Greater Manchester area. So the Kickstart grants will enable those who have lost their jobs or are currently out of work or living on reduced means because of the pandemic. So if you have a Greater Manchester postcode and you have been adversely affected by the pandemic, get in touch with us and we'll see if you can you meet the criteria. The full eligibility criteria is on the website. So I'm not going to go through it all now because I know obviously there's a lot of information for you to take in. But if you go to the website, go to the area on the website called Fees and Finance, and all the information and the criteria, the eligibility criteria, sorry, is on the website for you to have a look at there. Alternatively, there are other bursaries and scholarships and things like that as well. So all that information is on the website. So get yourself on the website and have a look on there as well. If you are looking to join the Access course that I mentioned earlier, so we're nearly there now, the Access course is also available for funding as well. So there is a government-funded advanced learner loan that is available to people looking to join our Access course. So it's available to people over 19 years of age, and you should apply for this loan differently to student finance. So this one, you do need to wait until you've been accepted onto the course to be able to apply for it. So whereas with student finance, you can do it in advance, this one, make sure you've got your offer first, and then you can apply for the Access, the advanced learner loan. So this one doesn't take into consideration your household income. It doesn't involve any credit checks either though, so nothing to worry about there. Repayments, similarly, are linked to what you earn after you complete, not what you borrowed. So again, same as student finance, is linked to what you earn. The threshold is slightly different, but it's linked to your earnings. And repayments start when you are earning over £25,000. So slightly different to, like I said, to the 26.5 roughly for student finance, but £25,000 is the threshold for this. Alternatively, though, if you go on to progress onto a full degree at UA92, if you then progress and complete a degree course with us at UA92, the funding for the Access course is wiped out. So there is an option there. If you want to go straight onto the degree with us, as this course can provide a route to that, you can then move directly onto the degree and do so, and wipe the funding out for this one and just pay for the degree. So that's kind of it in terms of a whistle-stop tour, a very quick information-heavy presentation on both applying to UCAS, applying directly, and student finance. I know there's been a whole load of information for you to take in there, so please feel free, like I said, to get in touch with us afterwards. That's what we're all here for. You've got the chat function, you've got the Q&A, you've got all our social media and all our email addresses, so please get in touch. So that's it from me. I'm going to hand over now to my colleague Steph in our wellbeing team, and Steph is going to be joined by our second year student Abs, and they're going to tell you all about our wellbeing service. So that's it from me, and I'll hand over to Steph.
Thanks, Josh. I think I'm going to be joined by Abs as well, and we're going to tell you a little bit about the wellbeing service at UA92.
Hey Steph, you all right?
I'm good, thanks, Abs. How are you?
I'm all right, thank you, Steph.
Good.
So we're going to talk about the wellbeing. So Steph, you're the wellbeing student officer. Why is student wellbeing so important at UA92?
Well, I think at UA92, the student is definitely the centre of everything that we do, and so their well-being, so mental, emotional, physical, spiritual well-being is super important to us, and that's actually why we've incorporated health and well-being into the curriculum. We've also made sure that all of our staff are either mental health first aid champions or mental health first aiders, which basically means that everyone has been trained. And so if any students are struggling with their mental health or mental well-being, we see it as a responsibility across the organisation to support students. And it's not just the responsibility of the wellbeing service, it's something that we're really passionate about.
No, I definitely agree. I've had help myself from the wellbeing service from you, Steph, and I think it just goes to show what student wellbeing is definitely important. And it's great that you mentioned what the wellbeing service does. What kind of support can students receive through the service, like myself?
Well, all students are able to book a one-to-one appointment through the Student Wellbeing Service, and it can be anything wellbeing related. So if people find that they're struggling with their mental health, then it's definitely there for them to access. If anyone's having difficulties financially and could benefit from money advice, they can access it. We can help with registering with GPs, accessing multi-faith support, accessing NHS support. They can also sign up for wellbeing activities. So we run yoga and fitness sessions every week, and they can sign up to workshops. So our most recent workshop was Coping Through COVID workshop, which was really helpful, and I think went down very well. And we've just got loads more. We've got links to the International Society for Overseas Students, and really close links to our colleagues at the Greater Manchester Police. So they've been able to support students with information and advice.
No, I definitely agree. I couldn't say how much the wellbeing service is amazing. It does help me, and I do benefit from it. So any potential student who's out there, will definitely benefit from this. And you also have the inclusive service, Steph, as part of the wellbeing service. Could you tell us more about that?
Yeah, so the inclusive support service sits within our wellbeing service, and basically if anyone has a disability, a long-term health condition, mental health condition, specific learning difficulty like dyslexia, or anything that means that they might have a few more additional needs, then they can access the inclusive support service. And through that, we can provide loads of support. So we can set up support plans for students at UA92, and we can also help them to access disabled students' allowances, which provides loads of really helpful support to students. So if any potential students feel as though they would fit into that category, then please do contact me and we can have a chat through all of the support that's available.
Just echoing what you're saying, with you helping people like disabled student allowance, I've had help myself from you, my dyslexia, I'm ADHD. And I feel like, don't be ashamed to ask for help. If you ask for help, it'll be so much easier. Like, I've got student support plan in place, which is helping me with my tutors as well. So giving people a much more understanding of what support I may need. And it's great to show that we are making a movement here at UA92, and wellbeing is so important. Do you have any tips for how we can stay well during this current lockdown?
Yeah, I think it's a really tough time, but I think there are some small things that we can do that actually will make quite a big difference. So things like creating a structure and a routine to our days, particularly when we're not able to do as much at the moment, staying connected with other people, so going for a walk with someone, or staying connected via kind of phone video calls with friends and family. Getting outdoors in nature is always really, really good, and staying active as we can. Sleeping well, trying new things can also be helpful, like new hobbies and learning a language or something like that. I would definitely say take care with news and social media. So I think it's really, really important that we stay informed at the moment, but there is a balance, and so just take care that we're not overloading ourselves with that sort of information all the time.
No,
sorry, Abs. Well, I was just going to say, most importantly, self-care is something that I talk about a lot and I think is really important. So anything that we can do that will make us happy or help us to relax or give us energy, doing lots of that is super important at the moment.
And echoing what you were saying, Steph, about lockdown and how it affected people, you've helped me through lockdown via Teams calls, and how the news and social media kind of affects my mental health during COVID. And I was quite in a difficult place. And them calls that you were just doing really, really helped me and benefited me. And it's great to know, as well as there is a workshop for students recently about how to look after ourselves, and the movement of UA92 are raising awareness about loneliness. And there's a campaign about loneliness that I just mentioned, and loads of stuff going on to raise awareness of World Mental Health Day, which I'm passionate about. It's just great to know how much of an impact you have, Steph. So thanks, Steph, for the lovely Q&A chat quickly. So if anyone wants to find out more information, the best way is to email inclusivsupport@UA92, or the main email address, which is on our website, that you'll get sent to you. Current students can also book in with Steph directly. I agree, just definitely book in. If you're feeling down, just book in. Steph's always a call away. And thanks, guys. Back over to Daisy and Andrew.
It's great to hear from Steph and Abs on wellbeing, as that was one of the biggest things that attracted me to UA92. I've always struggled with my mental health, so going somewhere that treats me as a person with thoughts and feelings and not just a statistic was really important to me.
Yeah, it's a really important part of being a UA92 student, isn't it?
It is.
That personal coach. I think we all need people to lean on at different times.
Of course. Yeah.
Brilliant. Well, okay, guys.
Okay guys, that's the end of the main part of the day. We're going to hang around to answer any questions you may have live from the studio. Just drop them in the chat box and we'll pick them up as they come in. Don't forget, if you'd like to book a one-to-one, you can do so by emailing us at hello@ua92.ac.uk and we'll book you in. We'll take a 2-minute break.
Okay, we're back. Sorry about that, guys. I think we had some technical issues, didn't have any audio, but we're here now. So we've got some questions to answer. If anybody wants to have their question answered, please just pop it in the chat and we'll make sure we get it. So Daisy, what's the first question for us?
What made you choose UA92 over any other university?
That's one for you.
Well, so for me, like I previously said, it was all to do with the support I'd have with my mental health. It's something that I consider very high up on my list of things that I need to have in me with university, and the people genuinely care. Like when I came for my open day, you could tell that the teachers genuinely cared about what sports I did, how I would fit that around my university life. All the teachers are all interested in what I do outside of uni as well, with my job being a carer. So it was just how much the teachers and tutors really cared about what I did.
Okay, great. We've got another question here that came in from Emily in the chat. What's the draw to come to UA92 with it being brand new? Why should I come here over, say, an established institution? I mean, that's a really good question. I'll take that and then maybe you can touch on what it was for you. I mean, there's a lot of choices out there. There's a lot of universities out there all doing fantastic things. UA92 is a deliberate attempt to do university in a different way, to do higher education in that different way. We've looked around at what other institutions are doing and you know, they're doing some fantastic work, but things can be improved. And if we've found a way, if we think it can be improved, then, you know, we've tried to do that with our timetable, with the AM/PM timetable and the block delivery of the courses as well. So I think it's going to be down to the student, whether it appeals to you or not, but UA92 has a number of different ways that we're trying to be different. And I'd recommend reading up on them, getting the perspectives, finding out all those different things and just seeing if it's for you.
Yeah, I'd agree. One of the main things for me was the timetabling in the blocks. So being an AM/PM student, with being an AM student, it does mean that, like I've said previously, I can continue to do my job, which is something I find really important. And the block delivery as well, which means that when we have our half terms and when we break for Christmas, I am not sat revising on my Christmas holiday. I can take the time to relax and, you know, be with my family or whatever people are doing at the moment because of COVID. But I just find it really like good that you can have that break from uni in your spare time rather than actually having to revise through all your holidays and never getting a true break.
Yeah, it's really important.
Yeah.
So we had some questions about courses and choosing the right course for different careers. There's one question about being a PE teacher and what course is best for that. I would recommend PE. I mean, that would be the obvious choice, but I think sports and exercise science could just as easily lead that way. One of the good things about all of our courses is, all of our sport courses, PE and sports and exercise science study essentially the same modules for most of the first year. So there is some crossover there. And to be a teacher in any field, you would need to do a PGCE after finishing a degree as well. So it could well be the case that you study PE with us and then get a PGC after. Sports science would work just as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I've got a question about work experience. I mean, I know you've continued working alongside your studies, and, a number of students have done the same thing. We believe that all of our students should get work experience, right? It's massively important. Once you get to the end of your degree, it's going to be about how you can separate yourself from other people, and work experience is massively important. We encourage our students to work with our partners to get work experience for themselves. Because of the timetable, the way it works, we believe that our students can get really substantive, good quality work experience because they know exactly where they're going to be. So we've got a second year student, Bobby, who we saw earlier, who is working as a reporter while studying journalism with us, and getting that real hands-on industry experience is really important. I don't know what you think about work experience.
Yeah, I think work experience is very important, especially like being as young as I am. I've had a lot of different jobs, and it's really changed who I am being within my different jobs. It's opened my eyes to a lot. Being a carer opens your eyes to a lot of things, and people don't necessarily have to be carers to have their eyes open into the wider world and what the working world is like. I think it's really, really important for students to get out there and get some work experience. And in the Teams chat that we have, the tutors and things, they all post jobs that are available around like Manchester and jobs that we can apply for as students.
One of the massive benefits of the timetable being what it is that you know exactly where you're going to be, and you can tell your employer
exactly.
that, you know, like when I was at uni, I had 1 hour here and then a 3 hour break and another hour there. You can't get any proper work like that, but you can tell them, okay, I'm available every afternoon, or I'm available every morning, whatever it might be, and it frees up that time.
It does.
Okay, we've got another question about entry requirements. For sports journalism, our entry requirements are all the same for all the courses, so it's quite easy.
Yeah.
You're looking at 104 UCAS points, which breaks down at about BCC at A level, DMM if you're studying a BTEC. All that information's online, so I'd recommend ua92.ac.uk/courses. You can find entry requirements there. Okay, any more questions coming in?
So we've had a question about accommodation. Yes, the accommodation is guaranteed for the 3 years that you're here. I'm currently living at West Point, and they offer like student accommodation in that then I can now apply for my next year and the year after's accommodation now with a fixed fees. So my fees for living there aren't going to go up or down, and it's at a reduced price as well for UA92 students. So that's good.
Yeah, accommodation is available. It is guaranteed for the 3 years if you would want it. And some of our students may do what often happens at universities. You sometimes will go into student accommodation for your first year, make friends, find your own place in the second and third years, whatever suits. But if needed, accommodation is available for the 3 years. Okay, any more questions coming in? I think we might be wrapping it up pretty soon. I think that's all the questions. If you do have any questions that you haven't had answered, if you want to speak to any of the team, myself in the student recruitment team, or any of my colleagues, or people like Daisy and any of our other fantastic student ambassadors, all you have to do, send us an email, hello@ua92.ac.uk. You can also speak to our students on Unibuddy. That's ua92.ac.uk/Unibuddy. Loads of ways of getting in touch. But thank you very, very much for taking the time to join us today. I'm sorry we've gone on a little bit too long, but we just had so much information to share with you. Thank you, Daisy, for your time as well.
Thank you. Yeah, we all appreciate the fact that you've been on the open day today, even though it's not what most of you would be used to visiting universities. I still think it's really important and a really good thing that you've all tuned in for the whole experience. So yeah, thank you.